Hello, Phantomaniacs! Welcome to the newest unboxing here on the Needless Things YouTube channel. As you're going to see more and more often in the coming months, we are doing a little bit of a retro unboxing today. Just because I'm limiting what I'm buying and just trying different things out, switching some things around. So today we're looking at Ultimate Storm Shadow from G.I. Joe Retaliation. This figure came out in 2000, so it says 2012, but I feel like this was 2013, like it got delayed or something maybe. The whole story of this was a mess, and we talked about it on Audible Interlude, and we'll probably talk about it again when we actually review Retaliation. But what they did with these Ultimate figures, and I've got a few I'm going to be reviewing in the coming months here, they wanted to make a great default version of the figure that was basically everything you would ever want a figure of Storm Shadow in this scale to be. And we got some really incredible toys out of Retaliation, regardless of what you think of the movie, which, by the way, I enjoy it. The toy line, well, really, even the 2009, the Rise of Cobra toys, we also got some really incredible stuff out of that as well. But we're taking a look at Storm Shadow today, who comes with tons of stuff. And one of the reasons I picked this figure up is I realized I did not have a great, just sort of default regular Storm Shadow in this style, this modern articulation style, which we still haven't settled on how to refer to the super articulated figures in this scale. But you know what you're looking at. So let's open this guy up because he needs to go on my shelf. I've got several Storm Shadows, and I have the first Storm Shadow that came out in this style. But, you know, retrospective, at the time, it was very exciting to be collecting G.I. Joe again. But looking back, there are some flaws with a lot of the figures, and we've talked about a ton of them in America's Elite, which is a segment we have on Audible Interlude where we take a look at every version of a certain character. And I really have, in retrospect, seen that there's some flaws with the 25th anniversary style. So I needed a great Storm Shadow in this scale. And it looks like I've got one, but let's take it out and see. So this is a little bit of a smaller card back. It's clearly movie aligned. It does not attempt to carry forward the 25th anniversary style of, looking like the original Joe hardbacks. Most of the movie lines left that behind while we still had it's amazing to think back to 2007 to 2016. You know, we had almost 10 years. Well, I think there might have even been some releases in 2017. But we just had this incredible run of G.I. Joe product that it would be easy to say we didn't appreciate enough at the time, but I'll tell you right now, I was appreciating the heck out of it. It's one of my favorite times of collecting in my life. It felt... I didn't have full recognition of, oh my gosh, it may never be this good again as far as pricing and selection and availability. Like, I don't know that I consciously thought that, but I was certainly aware of how much fun I was having collecting G.I. Joe, and that it was special to be reliving that portion of my childhood. Because, you know, other toy lines weren't as accessible, weren't as, like if you look at the 2002 He-Man, that stuff was quite frustrating. And I think a lot of revivals, it's interesting when you look at revivals of old franchises, they're often disappointing. But I think G.I. Joe, that 2007, the 25th anniversary and what followed it, really was pretty successful. And I just dumped the card back in the trash, and I bet I need that to figure out how any of this is going to work. Or maybe not. No, there are no instructions on this. Okay. I'm very curious to see what the heck this giant silly thing is. I don't know if it's a glider, because there were all kinds of different things that came in this line. They had zip line deals, they had gliders, they had all kinds of stuff. I can already tell this backpack is huge. Like the thickness on it is wild. All right, let's zoom on in, because this is a smaller scale figure than what I typically deal with. But immediately, it's got a good solid feel to it. Aesthetically, it's far superior to the 25th anniversary one. That, proportions, I think, were an issue with the 25th. People like to dump on people like to dump on the 2002 era stuff. I can see a problem right there right now. But a lot of the 25th anniversary stuff isn't articulated any better, or not articulated, isn't proportioned any better. So that was on upside down in the package. You can see that's where that's supposed to sit, the way that it's sculpted. So that is something to be aware of if you purchase this figure. But some of the 2005, some of the 25th anniversary stuff isn't proportioned any better than some of the 2002 stuff. So it's got the nice Storm Shadow, not the angriest Storm Shadow eyes, but pretty angry eyes. The Cobra logo is about as big as it could be. It'd be nice if it was bigger, but it's not bad. This is one of the things that kind of it bothers me about Classified also. I hate these extra little pieces, this extra kibble. I wish this was just sculpted onto the body. I don't like this stuff being a separate piece. But look at this. So the paint on the buckle. You've got some, I guess, pouches right here. Sculpted detail, although all those are going to do is keep that backpack from sitting flush. I love that we've got, it's funny. Oh, look at this big white smear of paint right here. Or is that wrist is articulated. That's crazy to see that. To this day, I'm still surprised, even though Star Wars has been doing it in the vintage collection for a long time. I'm still amazed to see that kind of wrist articulation in a figure this size, even though they've been doing it for years. It's still just like, wow, what we've accomplished. But these being separate pieces just drives me a little crazy. So it's funny, close up in the video, you can see this white right here is obnoxious, but looking at it with my naked eye, like, I can barely even tell it's there. And, that's just the kind of stuff that happened in toy lines. It wasn't a huge deal like it is now, and I think because of the scale. Everything's 1/12 scale now, so a flaw like that is so much more obnoxious and apparent than it is at the smaller scale. Sculpting is absolutely fantastic. I mean, those arms look great. That elbow, it's got a swivel at the top. It's got about a 90-degree bend, which is, now it's I'd say it's a little more than 90 degrees, just a tad. He's got that, I hate that why didn't they put this joint just at the waist? Like, that never made any sense to me. Why did they make everybody's abdomen have this massive cut through it? Which, it's a good joint, but just put it at the waist. I don't get it. All the folds and everything sculpted in his uniform look great. He is missing the thigh swivels that we're kind of used to now, but got the double jointed knees, got really nice ankle joints. He has what I refer to as modern ankle joints, with the disc, with the peg. So you've got the full functionality there. And I dare say these are better than most 1/12 scale ankle joints as far as the range. He's got his toe shoes on. And again, that sculpted tape. Oh, what I was going to say before, it's always driven me crazy as somebody who's collected wrestling figures on and off through the years when the wrist tape is just painted on because it just looks bad. I love that we've actually got the sculpted wrappings here with a little paint to differentiate them from that white uniform. This figure is absolutely fantastic. I wish we had a classified Storm Shadow that looked this good at this scale. I mean, not just this one blown up, but it still bugs the heck out of me that the classified Storm Shadow, look at that. Very little effort to get him to stand up in a cool pose. Like, this is a great figure. But it still drives me crazy that classified Storm Shadow has torn sleeves. That just, they need to redo him. And that's nuts to say, but I can't stand it. So his backpack just pops open just like that. Let me zoom back out just a little bit. We're kind of close up. Pops open there. You can see the detail of the arrows inside, which is a nice touch. Did I put, yeah, I put that on incorrectly. There we go. It's got the Arashikage logo on the back. I like this quilted design on it. Looks really good. And hopefully it will peg onto his back a little better now that I've turned that strap around. And then we've got some storage here that I'll have to check out. That might be for that sai. So it does peg in, but as I said, those pouches are just keeping it from sitting flush. But the belt, this piece looks a lot better than it did when I opened the figure up. Oh wait, actually that goes that way. I wonder if I could move that just a little bit. So if you do that, okay, that's, I think, how it's designed to be. You have to move this just a little bit up from where it seems to be sculpted to sit, but it still fits. It still looks good. And then that sits flush right above that first pouch. So that seems to work at that angle right there. And then that leaves his swords. Interesting that they're kind of vertical that way. Huh. All right, let's take a look at, got the two swords with paint on the blades. They look great, nice sculpting, well done. We're just gonna put those right into the backpack because I'm not quite sure how I want to display him. And guess what? Blades fully covered, not exposed. Oh yeah. We've got a sai, all one cover, but it is nice metallic. All one color, but it is a nice metallic color. Deadly looking, and I believe, well, I thought that was going to fit right there. I might be wrong about that. Okay, so no, that does not fit right there. We've got the arrow, which is massive, like kind of hilariously gigantic arrow. And then the bow, which is sort of a streamlined version of the original Storm Shadow bow. Looks really good though. It's got, we'll zoom back in for this. You can see all that sculpted detail on it. Those ridges. It's a really nice looking piece, and it's got a little flexibility there. And then a fan that I think is reused from something else. I don't know. There's nowhere to store the fan. I'm probably not going to have him holding it. So let's figure out what goes where. Because it seems like, I mean, the bow seems like it could just store in there. But it also looks like these notches are for something. But I believe this is reuse. So whatever accessory, I mean, that works pretty okay. Just snapping it into place there. Whatever accessory might have been intended for this spot may not be included with this Storm Shadow. I really want this Sai to fit there. I don't know that that's... I don't think that that's what was intended to happen there. If you can see those little notches. And I'm not, by the way, I'm not positive this backpack is reuse. I'm just imagining that it probably is. So that kind of works if you want to do that. I don't know that I'd put them on the shelf like that because it seems like you're asking to lose those items. But, I mean, they stay in place. And then the arrow can actually go in the quiver, which is probably the intent there. So there, he's all geared up. Throw him on. I guess I didn't buy... I don't think I've got a stand like this. I thought I had purchased... I'll tell you what, we're going to put his back foot on there. I thought I had purchased some of these figures, but look, everything's just flying off now. But I don't recognize this stand. I don't believe I have another stand like this because the movie stands were dog tags, but they had like a grid on them. I don't think I've got one that's just plain like this. I don't know that this is really working, but whatever. All right, so there's that. We've also got an alternate unmasked portrait of Tommy. That looks really good. Obviously, the paint up in his hair is not perfect. This zoomed in. He's got a little splotch right over there, too. This zoomed in. Paint's not perfect on his hair. But, well, and also that right pupil is got a little strabismus going on there, which I can relate to. But to the naked eye, this is a great unmasked portrait. I won't be using it on this figure. I like the little sideburns, too. It's a nice touch. I won't be using it, but it's cool that it came with it. And now, let's figure out what the heck this thing is. So I guess it's like a glider, right? Whoa, what is happening there? Well, and also what is happening here. We've got a little bag. It looks like it's got some line in it. So is this like a zip line situation? Or is this a full-on... Ooh, whoa, what? Oh my gosh, are you serious? There's a whole bag of insanely teensy accessories here. Whoa. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's do a zoom in because they're so teeny tiny. There's like no other way to handle this. Oh, this is nuts. What do I even do with these things? This is crazy. Okay, so there are nunchucks with an extremely long string between them. But of course, Storm Shadow should come with nunchucks. There is a... So wait, is that the same Sai? It just is in a bag for some reason? So yes, he comes with a pair of Sais. And maybe that's what goes back here. So that's just another Sai. He's got a pair of throwing knives. Not really knives, though. They're like almost like weighted weapons. Pretty cool. A pair of throwing... I cannot even get over how teeny tiny these little pieces are. This is just nuts. A pair of throwing stars. And yes, I will test how well the figure can hold them, because I'm very curious about that myself. I mean, I don't even know. What are these, climbing claws or something? I don't even know. What is this? Is this a drinking straw? What? And then whatever this is that clearly has a little spot to plug into something somewhere. And are these, so is the drinking straw, is it just like a throwing dart type thing? I don't know. It is insane that those little teensy tiny items were included with this figure. I don't see anywhere. And you could store, I guess you could store all of that stuff in the backpack if you wanted to. His foot peg doesn't particularly want to go in his foot. So that's insane. Let's get back to this thing now, which I thought maybe that little bag would help explain what this was. So this has no back peg. This has... What is the point of this? It just spins the figure around? His accessories just fall off left and right, which is another not great facet of this era of Joe. So I would need to take his little strap off for... Oh, no, wait. Okay. So I got the back peg in there. What is this supposed to be? I mean, it's right there. You see. Oh, they've got this turned around the other way on the figure. I can't remember off the top of my head which way it goes on the original Storm Shadow. That would make more sense, though, because then it's not covering up the Cobra emblem. So let's do that. Let's fix that, right? Maybe the backpack will fit on better as well. Oh, but it doesn't go... Oh, wait. I put it on. There we go. It goes that way. All right. That seems to make more sense. Oh, but then those are right in the way of the backpack. I don't know. I'll have to play around with that some more to figure it out. Let's just get that out of the way for now. So that plugs into the hole in the back, holds the figure in place. And I mean, what are we doing here? Is this some kind of weird variation on... I mean, it's a Cobra thing. But what is this? This is not a good way to travel. Nobody wants that. So I don't know. I don't know what we're doing here. I guess maybe this is supposed to pick up Joes and murder them with centrifugal force. I'm just not sure. But that is all it does. So this really just makes no sense whatsoever. But fine, because there's so much other stuff with this figure that who cares if that gigantic piece of machinery has a function or not. I guess we should try the backpack. Since we're here, since we're wrapping things up, let's see if the backpack works with the bandolier on the correct way. Which for some reason no part of me wants to ever put it on facing the right side up. Well, let's put his other hat on too, just to do it. All right, so there's that alternate head. Kind of looks like he's rolling his eyes at you. And okay, I mean, those pouches really just get in the way of it sitting as flush. I'll have to play around with this some to figure out the best way to do it. But for now, That's our time. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends about Needless Things. That is the best way to help the channel out, is share these videos if you see something you like. And until next time, Cobra. Hey, sorry, back with another little follow-up. I did say I was going to see how well these fit in his hands, and they kind of do, because he's got those fingers spread out. And again, I really just probably wouldn't put him on the shelf with this, because you're just asking to lose this little tiny thing. But I believe if you want to, you can get, yeah, you can get that finger in that little hole in the middle and do something like that with that piece. These, which I guess are just straight up stabbers, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with these things, but maybe put that in the hand and I don't know, something like that, sort of. So there you go. He can engage with those little teensy tiny accessories, but ooh, you're taking a risk. Thanks for watching, everybody. Oh, okay, back with another follow-up, if the camera will stop shaking. I just noticed, even though I've handled this thing several times, this little peg right here. So apparently that's what this goes on to. That is crazy. And again, I don't know. It seems to be on there. No, it's not that secure. I don't think I'm going to display him on the shelf like that. Oh my gosh, look at that though. That is clearly designed to hold this. Hang on, this is nuts. Who wants to deal with teeny tiny little nonsense like this? Not me. But look at this. That fits. I mean, it's not gonna, when it's pegged, it's not gonna fit into place, right? And it certainly isn't gonna stay there, because that peg doesn't go through flush. Yeah, I mean, that's not gonna work. That's nuts. I'm gonna try, just because. No, that's not happening. All right, well, there you go. More wild, crazy, tiny stuff. I can't wait to do this Cobra Commander.
Smash that like button if you like Needless Things.